Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Looking for Love. I am your host, Trey Kearney. I'm a certified life and relationship coach, and I'm here with my trusty co host. I'm going to let him introduce himself.
Lamar Hall.
You can do more than that.
I,
Come on.
I am a 51-year-old man who is a businessman, educated, divorced, knows a little bit about relationships. so,
Okay. And tonight we're going to be talking about looking for love. We are all looking for love, but are we ready? That's the question that I often ask myself in these dating streets and in life when I see people in relationships. A lot of people wanted to get married, but were they really just happy about the wedding or are they really ready for the marriage? So this is the question that we're asking. Are you looking for love and are you ready for love when it comes your way? So tonight we're going to dive into a few things. We're going to answer some questions and we would love for you to talk to us in the chat. We will answer your questions too, but there's a lot going on right now. And somebody sent me a DM of a video of a woman that was saying that women are attracting the same man, right? And I just want to talk about this a little bit while me and Lamar is here, and we can get a perspective from the male and female perspective. And for those who are listening, you're tuned into the New You Nation Network YouTube channel. We would love for you to subscribe. And we are catered to Generation X. This is for an older, mature crowd. And if you are not older and mature, you're more than welcome to come and learn. But we cater to Generation X. So we're talking about people who are mature and people who have already probably been married or in a serious relationship a couple of times. Now we're on the other side of the mountain. So I've been seeing a lot of people talking about this, that we attract who we are. And I just want to talk about that a little bit because I'm tired of people saying that, right? Because I was out this weekend, right? I was out and I attracted all different men, like, because I was out at a spot.
okay.
So I'm not attracting who I am. These men were attracted to what I look like. So we go around saying this, these cliches. You attract who you are, or you attract what you're ready for. No, we attract people because people are attracted to the outside of us. So it's aesthetic. So people are attracted because I'm tall. Maybe they
Right.
were attracted to my outfit. Maybe they were attracted because I'm light skinned. But people are attracted not because of who I am, but because of what they see. So I just wanted to get our take on this, and I wanted to bust that myth of people attract who we are and we keep attracting the same man in a different body. And I just wanted to say this. I don't believe we attract who we are. I believe that we entertain people too long once we attract them and they have the qualities that we don't like because we were attracted to their external. So Lamar, what do you think? Do you, when you hear those people, those sayings, what does it say to you?
Well, I mean, physical attraction is always going to be the first thing. I mean, that is the first start of it. Aesthetically is going to be it. Once you get past that, that's where we start talking about. Do you know truly what your triggers are? Do you know what you're looking for, what you want? That is going to help you weed through this whole dating process a lot quicker. If you don't know, I mean, if you're out here just fishing and you don't know what kind of fish you want, you don't know anything about it, then yeah, you're going to have a lot more ups and downs. So I challenge any woman, work on yourself, figure out what you truly want, and stand on that. I mean, you really have to stand on that and be patient because it's not going to be an easy task. So what you really want out of life, you got to be patient.
Hmm. And I just wanted to say this too, that as far as us attracting who we are, because I'm so sick of people just saying stuff because it sounds good, right? I'm really just over it on social media. People, oh, you attract who you are, or you attract what you're ready for. And I'm just saying to myself, like, that doesn't make any sense. And again, like Lamar said, once you do the work on you and you know who you are, I don't give two snowballs in hell. If you know who you are and you attract the wrong person, you're going to let them go sooner than later. So again, the problem is not that we attract the wrong person or we attract the same types. We tolerate the same bad habits. We tolerate the bad red flags because we see, like we said before, if you got a fine woman and you looking with your eyes, remember?
You will make excuses. So I saw somewhere where 50 Cent said, if your looks are your number one attribute, you're gonna do you're gonna do something bad.
Oh,
So
oh,
and I
oh,
gave you the G rated version of that, but and it's true. If that is if you're leaning on I look good, then man, you're already lost. So it's
oh,
like do the work on yourself, spend some time alone, really figure out what you want. And you can have whatever you want. You got to manifest it. You got to really believe that and bring that forward. So in your case, if you want a God-fearing man, you know immediately when you meet him if he's a devil. If he's a devil when you meet him, he's not going to change. He's not going to change. You can't at the age we are, it's not about changing nobody. I'm
right.
not I'm not trying to change a person that interacts with me in my life at all.
Mm,
You are who you are.
right.
I
And
choose to be with you or around you or not.
that's it. And we're all about accountability around here. It all starts with you. And like I said, while I was out, I attracted many different guys, right? Just all different shapes, all different sizes. And I'm more than sure if I sat down and I went out with those guys, that none of them would have the same personality. So to tell me I attract who I am, nobody is me. And I'm not in a space right now at this age of 54. And anybody who's over 40 and in Generation X, you should know who you are and you should be able to let go of folks who show you that they're not ready, who show you that they have not worked on their core values, their character, their integrity. And again, we want stuff so bad when we see a fine man. I'm gonna tell it, Lamar. When we see a fine man and he look good, and we want to showcase him around because we always talk about men want trophy wives. Women want trophy men.
Yeah. I mean,
Man is fine. And we know the other reason why we be excusing poor behavior back in the day, but we don't do that no more. We don't care about that. We don't care. We don't care. We ain't the schlong ain't keeping us no more like it used to, right? Because that's why they was men. Remember they said men have community penis. Like the man was, going all over town, the women were sharing the man. Because I'm not lying about in those stupid phases when we were in our 20s and 30s, how we would be penis, the word they used to say was dematized. You know what I'm saying? And this man who was a bum wouldn't have nothing going on for him, and all these women would be fighting over him. All of them would be fighting each other because the penis was good or because he was fine. And back in the day, the fine brothers, it wasn't too many, because
no, I don't know. I've never ever. I've been a awkward kid growing up, and I never had that women all over me type of thing. It came a little later in life, and it still is very uncomfortable for me. So I don't know how to deal with compliments and things of that nature, from women. So my whole journey was, again, I was married in a relationship for 25 years. I get out and this is whole new world. And
yes.
you have to play with these whole new set of rules. And I hear people my age going, I don't want to play games. Okay, I get it, but there is a game to be played. There's a certain way to approach
Mm,
dating, in a certain mindset. And if you don't want to do it, that's your choice. But if you're looking for love, you're gonna have to play the game, in a certain sense, because everybody's not gonna give you what you want up front. You're gonna have to fish for it. You got to, you got to know a little bit of what you want, and you got to talk. Communication is always going to tear all of that down.
mm.
So I
Let me
tend to
ask you this question.
I over communicate because I was told early in my marriage that I didn't communicate. So now I identified that, and she probably was right. And now I try to over communicate, and sometimes it doesn't feel good, because I feel soft at times,
Oh,
but You know,
It's
it's
not
just
soft to communicate. That is a superpower for men. Like if a man could communicate, he got that woman by the throat. If that man really communicates and really talks and really can articulate the way that he's feeling, that woman will do she will do backflips. Like seriously. Because so many women have been in relationships where the number one block has been the man not communicating. And nothing bad to say about men, but men have been taught not to be vulnerable. Men have been taught just like it or lump it and don't say nothing, endure it. So when you get a man that's able to communicate, oh my goodness, you be like, wait a minute, he faking.
it just feels weird. All I'm saying, it just, you know, and I guess part of falling in love with somebody is exposing yourself and being vulnerable, you know, to that love. And that's the thing about it. You have to be willing to be vulnerable. You know, the greatest thing about love is being in love. The other part of it is you're going to get hurt sometimes. So you can't let those situations just, you know, make you have put a bad taste in your mouth. You go like, oh, I'm not never going to do that again. That's part of the dance. You have to do it.
Yes, I call that being stuck in the moment. So many women, I ain't never getting married again. You gonna let that man have your life? Yo,
Right.
when you say that, or even men, if men say, you know, I'm not doing that marriage thing no more because the last chick, you gonna let that last chick or that last dude control your life? You ain't even with them no more, and they got you to the point where you talk like I heard Lala say that. Lala Anthony, who's married to Carmelo Anthony, she was talking about how she wasn't getting married and how she thought what marriage was. And I'm like, chick, from one dude, it was him. It was the situation that you had with him. There's a dude out here that might be your real soulmate that will really be locked in with you. And he might want to marry you. You might lose the love of your life because he want to propose to you. You talking about you never get married because of Carmelo?
You know what? I get a little perturbed about those type of situations and those agreements, you know, where you get married to somebody who's famous and has a lot of money, and one person typically is more famous than the other person. You, it is hard for a man to have women chasing them. We're not used to that. That's just something we're not used to. So the men that have money and you know who they are, they it's just a matter of time that they're going to cheat because we're just not built to say no like that. You're gonna we're Most of my life at 51 years old, I can probably count on one hand how many times women have just thrown themselves at me. I can imagine having millions and millions of dollars and go, you know, because one guy I worked with one time, he goes, you know, Kobe cheated on his wife, and I'm like, dude, have you ever been in a situation where women just chase you? I was like, I don't think very many men understand that. You know, it's just like you have to be able to, yes, you want to be able to say no, but man, that's hard, you know, to be able to go that way. So when I believe that when you get with somebody like that, you got to have this little gray area to say, hey, listen, then don't be with them. I mean, I
That's
honestly
what I'm
understand.
saying. That's
You
that's
don't be with that. Don't be with
right.
that type of
Absolutely
person.
not. Like ain't gonna be no gray area where I don't care if you got $7 billion. If you say you want to be committed to me, then we really have to have the conversation. And another thing too is when it comes to basketball and football players, I'm gonna say this, and this is not to excuse anybody's poor behavior, and we are in no way promoting cheating or making up excuses for anybody. But I'm gonna say this: basketball and football players are very young.
Yeah.
They're young and they come into a lot of money early before they even have a solid foundation of who they are. And then, they run into a woman that marries them, which is not even, it's really not even time for them to get married because, again, like you said, they got all this money, all these women are throwing themselves at them. So that whole situation of those basketball, because I look at older basketball players now and they're younger than me. And I'm like, he only 46.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, oh, he been married to her since he
Yeah.
was 23 or 27. Like, that's just a recipe for disaster.
Yeah, I can't imagine. I got married at 24, which was too young, you know, and that's why I said, 32 is a good age for people, for men, and then men to figure it out to go, okay, I've been through some situations, I've dated some women, I have some experiences. Then you get to the point where if you're ready to settle down, you don't really want to go out anymore. Really don't want to entertain a lot of women. That's when I knew I was ready to settle down because I was just like, I'm tired of juggling all these women. It's
Right.
not it doesn't feel good anymore. And
Mm,
it was just like, but I'm 51. Was I like that at 31? No, I wasn't.
right.
So that's
And neither
that's
was I.
yeah, so it's just like you have to be allowed to grow a little bit. And men in particular, you just gotta I just think the later half, because men, Malcolm X says the perfect age for a woman is half the man's age plus 7.
Wow. Wow. So if you just tuned in, you're tuned into Looking for Love. I am your host, Trey Kearney, and I am here with my co-host Lamar Hall, and we're talking all about love, relationships amongst Generation X men and women. What are the stops, the blocks, the misses? Why are we missing each other? What makes us tick? What makes us stop? And we are talking about this from the perspective of men being human beings and women being human beings, not males and females, because we are not here to divide and separate men from women and women from men. We're here to bring harmony and cause relationships to thrive. So we're going to talk about jealousy. So we got a DM from a man, and I hope he's on TikTok watching right now so that we can answer his question. He said his wife has a problem with jealousy. His wife is very jealous of other women. And he said on the flip side, he doesn't care what his wife does because he's not jealous. And he said, is there something wrong with him? So is there a healthy level of jealousy that should be in relationships? Is his wife the problem? Or is it a problem that he doesn't have? He said, I don't care what my wife does because I'm not a jealous person.
So twofold. So it is his responsibility to reassure his wife, that why are you jealous? They should be talking this through and have very specific instances. Why are you jealous? What are you thinking? So it's his responsibility that if he's always in his phone or something like that, or whatever the case may be, that whatever is raising any type of doubt, then that's his responsibility as her husband to address that. That's first. Second is that him not being jealous might be a byproduct of he may not be very proud of that woman. He
Oh,
may not he may not, feel like she is his first choice.
oh,
So he doesn't really care. Maybe she's put on some weight. Maybe she doesn't do the things she does that she used to do. So that can also make you feel like, I don't really care anymore. So, but like I tell you all the time, not when you're married, but competition brings out the best of us. And that's why I believe being honest, you're going to get the best version of that person. So I don't, jealousy is going to be there. Insecurities are going to be there. It's your partner's responsibility to talk it through and identify it so it doesn't continue.
I agree to a certain extent. If they had a conversation about her jealousy and it's her insecurities and he has assured her, I don't believe a person has to reassure somebody over and over and over and over again. I think at that point,
Mhm.
if you are extremely jealous in your marriage, and we're not talking about, we don't really know their situation, but if we're talking about somebody that you're not cheating on your wife, you're not doing things to her to make her feel a certain kind of way, because he said he's tired of her being jealous. He's like, it's ticking him off. And you've had this conversation. I'm not going to be with a man that is badgering me because they're jealous because of maybe how I carry myself, the way that I look. I can't help the way that I look. I don't know what he looks like. Maybe he's a handsome man.
Right.
But at some point, sis, you got to go get the help that you need that's charging you to be jealous because to me, this is just my opinion, extreme jealousy. I think that there's a healthy level of jealousy in marriages and relationships, right? You see somebody looking at my man. I should have a little bit of, hey, wait a minute, hold up, pause, sis. Or the man should have a little bit of, okay, wait a minute. I don't want to have to go up in your mouth, bro. It should be a little bit of healthy jealousy, but there should not be extreme jealousy from anybody because I believe that jealousy is a sign of insecurity in oneself. If
Right.
I'm with a man, listen, I'm not jealous of any woman because I stand my ground. But you could get a little jealous if you see, maybe somebody hug your man a little too tight, like, hey, but it's a healthy level of jealousy, like, yeah,
Okay.
let, don't
But
make
it's his responsibility to defuse those situations because you probably have communicated to him, hey, listen, don't because me and my ex-wife had a certain thing. It was like, listen, don't be out here hugging a bunch of dudes.
oh
We not with that. So, and that was the thing when we were in college, everybody hugged each other and this and that. I'm like, I don't need all these dudes hugging all on you.
oh
And she was like, okay, that makes sense. But we communicated that, and it was something that we both practiced. So,
wow. That just brought something back to me from my ex, right? Because I was in the entertainment business, right? Listen, we talking now. See, now
yeah.
we telling my business, and I don't know if he watching because he probably watching from somewhere. Because I've learned that a lot of my ex women be watching me. I'm like, what is you looking at? Like, what you want? What y'all watching tonight? Because if you watching tonight, what up? Because you can call me. I don't want them no more. But anyway, he used to get mad at me, like, because I would be on social media when social media was just, it wasn't even really popping, but it was a photographer that used to be out. What was the name of it? It was a nightlife photography. Back in the day, they had the little picture with the name on it. What's popping? That's what it was. What's popping? So I used to be in the entertainment business. I used to manage and I used to work at Flavor Unit, Queen Latifah's record label. So we would get invited to, industry parties and events and different things like that. And I used to hang at Puffy's Club, Justin's, all the time because that was the industry spot. And I would hug dudes because that's how we did in the industry.
Mhm.
Yo, he used to be pissed. And I used to be like, what is your problem? I'm not sleeping with these men. Like, I don't care about them. This is how the industry was. But now that you're saying that, it just raised something up in me to be like, maybe I was a little bit wrong. Cause I was like, yo, dude, you bugging.
Yeah, I mean, whatever works for you. Some people, I'm now at 51, it wouldn't bother me. When I was 31, yeah, it probably bothered me. So it's the
Oh
growth.
yeah, he was mad. Like he used to be like, this nigga all hugged up on you. And I used to be
Yeah,
like,
because
what are you
because
talking
you
about?
have
That's
to.
such and such. That's my boy. Like, please.
Yeah, but listen, that men will do that stuff and turn around and look like, oh, you thought that was your chick or this and that. It's just a little catty thing. Men do it to women. We all do it. So it's just one of those things. Like if I'm out with you and some dude hugs you now, I'm not tripping. 20 years ago, I'm probably like, yo, who's this dude? This and that. But
Right.
it just comes back to the communication and what you really set as the basis of the
And I'm
relationship.
a hugger. But I'm a hugger. Like I'm a really,
Yeah,
I'm a
it
really,
depends on how you're hugging too. Are you
but
doing?
I wasn't humping somebody's leg and nothing like
Yeah,
that. It wasn't like a hug and a hump. It was, what's up? How you
I,
doing?
I see both sides of it. I've been a part of both sides of it. And I would lean on the communication side of it and let that woman know, hey, that I don't really feel good doing that. And I think if we all practice to say, put yourself in the other person's shoes and would you want that? So that's a lot of decisions that I always look at and go, how would I feel, if it's
Right.
done to me, so it's just like, I really try to step outside myself and look at the entire situation and then go, am I tripping, so
Right. Right. But I think that there for this man to say I don't care what my wife does, that's like a red flag to me because I would never want my husband to feel like he don't care what I do, like
right.
because I'm not jealous. And he said, "Is there something wrong with me?" And again, unless you don't think your wife is attractive, so you don't care because if you had somebody on your arm that was a dime and brothers was all up
Yeah,
on
you
her,
you would you would care.
you would.
You
Yeah. So
would.
when did you get to the point in the relationship that you just didn't care, or has it been like that the whole time? Is that just who
Is
you
it
are?
just is it just with her or has he been like that his entire life?
Right. So I don't know if he's on here right now, but I will again go into. I wish he was on here so he can answer these questions. But is that just the nature of your character? Because some people grew up in a house where everybody was loving and hugging, and they're huggers, and then some people grew up in a house where it was cold and militant. So
Right.
when we come together, we have to have these conversations about how did you grow up? Like, because why would you think that I would be okay with you not being jealous to some degree Because I would think like, am I not attractive, or do you just not care about me? Because there is something wrong with. I'm not saying there's something wrong with him. It may be something wrong with the way that he worded it to say, I don't care what she
Right.
does because
I
I'm
mean,
not
I'm
type.
sure. I'm sure he cares. I'm sure he cares. I'm sure it's not a situation where she can go out at night and come home whenever she wants. And I mean, there has to be rules to certain things, and you just have to communicate those things. So there is something that she can do that will make him feel some type of way. Now the question is, does he really want to get to that point? That because if you let somebody keep running, they're going to figure it out. They're going to do something that's going to trigger you. And
Oh,
it's just, and then it's going to come out of nowhere and be like, oh, hold on, I thought you didn't care. So it's like,
right,
it's like,
right.
talk it through. I would tell him, talk it through, get some communication, figure out why, what either one of y'all are feeling like that. It's like, it's not healthy, not long run. I don't know how long they've been married either. So it's just,
Right. Extreme jealousy for me again. Extreme jealousy is a really red flag for me, and it's a sign that you haven't done the work on yourself, because if there has been some infidelity and it is affecting you in a way that's meant, jealousy for me is messing with my mental health. Like if I got my man, and every time he go out the house I'm worried or I'm jealous when a woman speaks to him in the supermarket or when we're out at a restaurant or whatever, if there was some infidelity or something happened along the way that made me this way, for me, it's either time for me to get help because it's affecting who I am as a person and my mental wellness, or it's time for me to leave you. Because
right,
I'm not going to be with somebody that I have to be jealous of once I get to the root cause of why am I jealous? What's going on here? Is it with me because the last dude I was with
right.
was a lying, stinking, cheating dog, and now I'm doing this to my new husband? Or is it because this man has done some things and I just can't get over it? And I always talk to my clients who, because I counsel couples or
Mm,
coach couples through the devastation of infidelity, who are trying to be back together. And I try to tell them, if you can't give your partner a clean slate and you're going to be the FBI, the CIA, and you're going to be looking under floorboards and checking the car, you should just you should just walk away, because you're going to drive yourself crazy. And
right.
I'm not in the driving trade crazy. You know what I'm saying? If you with a chick and you got to go through her purse, her phone, you looking over your shoulder,
I
that's
mean,
mental anguish for you.
that's too much work. I mean, that's too much work. If I got to do that, that means I don't need to be with you. So, you
It
know,
is, and I've been down that path before. Like I've been the FBI and the CIA,
I,
and
I mean,
never.
I told you my stance on social media. It's going to, in younger women, and I have dated younger, and you see how important, if social media means, if I meet a young lady and it's too much. I mean, she's just got to post, because there are signs when women just start posting for nothing. You're trying to speak to somebody. You're
Mm,
trying to attract somebody to say
mm,
hello or something like that. So if we're in a relationship and you're posting pictures of yourself all the time, and you're in bathing suits or you're in these compromising positions, you are doing it for attention. So
right.
is that if you need attention from social media and you need attention from other men like that, as a man, those are the women you got to learn how to walk away from.
Oh, ladies, did y'all hear that? If you're in a relationship and you are on social media in compromising positions and bathing suits, and not bathing suits when you're on vacation, if
Right.
you in your bathroom with your booty tooted up, your man has a problem with it. And what do you think about? Let's talk about this, because this bothers me. But it really ain't none of my business. But it bothers me when I see like celebrities who are married, like being thirst traps. I'm like, why is your husband allowing you? And I know people say nobody's supposed to tell somebody what to do, but we can have a conversation if it's over the top and it's too much. Why is your husband allowing you a wife and a mother, to be a thirst trap? Why do you think, and I'm asking this really, this is a real question for you as a man. Why do you think these men allow their women to do these things on social media? I see, like, I don't want to name names, but there's a lot of women, and I'm looking at them like, one, you're too old to be doing that. Two, you somebody mama, and three, you married. What is you doing?
I think the first thing is when you have those type of women, they're gonna, oh, I'm making money doing this, or whatever the case may be. That's why
Oh.
I don't deal with women who have tens of thousands of followers.
Mm.
I just don't do it. That's just, you need attention, you need validation. So
Ooh.
I stay away from those type of women. So as a man, if you're with a beautiful woman like that and that's what she needs, kind of comes with the territory a little bit. You knew what she was about when you met her.
Oh.
It wasn't like you met it wasn't like you married her and then she just became this social media star. She was heavily into this before, y'all got together.
Uh-oh.
It's almost like, would you date a stripper and then all of a sudden you want to take her from stripping and she's like, nah, I like doing this. Now you're trying to save her. So you can't demand to change somebody and when they've shown you who they are. So if that's how she makes her money, if she has OnlyFans, if she does all this stuff and you choose to get into a relationship with her, that's on you. You can't change her. You can
Wow.
want to, but that is not your position as a man. And that's, I look at a lot of stuff on social media and they talk about accessibility. It's like, what do women bring to the table? And it just depends. There's different levels of men, and we'll start from the top. If everybody wants the top, the guy that's at the top, he's not going to allow that. He does not want his woman being viewed like that because she is an extension of him.
Oh.
And a lot of women don't really understand that. Oh, I want this man. He's over 6 feet. He makes 100,000. He does this. That. Listen, that guy is a different type of man, and the best way that you can be is be feminine. Be feminine, be soft, be nurturing. That is what matters. When I was dating, I meet somebody, I hear somebody say, I'm a boss. We're done.
Hmm.
I don't need a boss.
Female.
Yeah. I mean, if you want to be listen, we can take a poll, not all, but I'm sure most alpha females are by themselves.
Oh, I'm not an alpha female, but I'm by myself. But I don't claim to be an alpha female, and I don't like that term,
right?
Because I think that when you're in a relationship, why would you want to be an alpha anything with a man? So
True.
I always tell women, I'm like, why you keep saying you an alpha female? I don't understand that. Like, I'm just not that. Maybe because we're dealing with Generation X.
Yeah.
And a lot of women my age are more traditional than alpha.
That is true. When you get 40 and over, it is today, there's still a lot of traditional values. Now, the opposite of that is that it's a little tough to be traditional in this chaotic world. So, I mean, that's why you got to be patient. You got to identify your wants, your needs, your red flags, because you are going to be needle in a haystack, because it's just,
right.
it's just hard, and you gotta be able, you don't truly evolve as a person until you walk away from somebody you really like when they do something that is a red flag.
Well, listen here, right now, even like the few men that I've had conversations with, and I'm just like, this one guy, I was like, so what should, we were just talking on the phone, and I'm just like, so what is your take on God? And he was like, I don't believe in God. And I love the Lord, Lamar. I love the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. So I was like, well, what do you mean you don't believe in God? And he was like, I don't believe in God. I said, well, who do you believe in? This ninja said himself. I said, well, who do you think created you? And the conversation from there just went left. And I was just like, you know what? I'm not trying to convert you to Christianity, and I'm not trying to about science. And so I was just like, he was like, I guess you want me to lose your number. Yeah, pretty much.
And those are conversations that you have to have, and you have to, ask, like you said, the things that are most important to you. If religion is number one, you should lead into that immediately.
Faith is one of my core values.
Yeah. So and that's why I keep telling you to go on Christian Mingle, and you like, no, you don't want to do it. But
stop telling me to go on Christian Mingle. You trying to make me go on Christian Mingle, y'all.
No, you should. There's gonna be more like-minded people,
Ain't nothing in Christian Mingle but little devils that's acting like, the devil knew the Bible. The devil knew the Bible because he was a fallen angel. He was the minister of music up in heaven, so he know every worship song. I'm not going on
Well,
Christian.
imposter when you say if I have a conversation with somebody about religion, my knowledge is going to be very limited as opposed to someone who's very knowledgeable. So it's up to you to go, okay, do you want to carry on that conversation? Is that person more willing to learn? If not, then that's when you just cut it. But you got to have those conversations. It's like it's like me working out. If I ask a woman, "Do you go to the gym?" No. Okay, well, this conversation is probably not going to go far. It's like cuz I just believe in fitness, it's just like, and then you don't have to be a fanatic with it, but
Right.
you have to take care of yourself, and that's important. So if you meet somebody in religion and fitness and they're 1 and 2, if they go, nah, I like sitting at home and eat cookies all day. Well, it was nice knowing you. So you just have to you got to be able to cut it, real quick. And it's catered to each one of our needs, and it's just identifying it. So
Wow. Somebody said, hold on, let me read this comment. For whatever reason, a lot of women were forced to be alpha. Let me say this, and I'm gonna say this, and I mean this. Nobody's forced to be anything. Nobody's forced to be anything. We make a choice to be things, and just because there's not a man in your life, it does not force you to be alpha. It forces you to have to do some things that you wouldn't necessarily want to do because you don't have a boo. Like I'm forced to carry in the, the cases of water because I don't have a man. I'm forced to do that. I'm not forced to do anything within my personality because I have control over that. Like me carrying something heavy because I ain't got a man in the house, that's something different. And we have to saying that women have been forced to be masculine. No, you're choosing to be masculine, whether there's a man in your life or not. I'm feminine all the time. I'm not forced to be masculine.
so
I'm not gonna buy that.
I'm gonna ruffle some feathers.
Ruffle.
So
I'm nervous. Hold on. Let me give you the screen.
so listen, we have situations that make women independent. Why do women use the term alpha to do the basic things that men do?
Oh,
If you are paying your bills, if you are taking care of yourself, that is what a grown adult person is supposed to do. Why does that make you alpha?
it doesn't. This is what
But,
I'm saying.
but women use that as a thing. It's like, oh, I have to do this. I have to. You have to do it anyway. That's just because you live by yourself. You have to pay your own bills. You have to bring your groceries in. You have to do those things because you live by yourself as an adult. So stop using the term as you're an alpha because you're doing basic necessities that every man is doing.
The more.
I'm just saying, it's like and we talk about accountability. Those are easy things. Men live in accountability. We
Right.
live in the real world because we cannot hide from anything. You think about it like this, I tell my friends stuff. What happens if you're a man that is under 6 foot, that's not in shape, that doesn't make $100,000 a year? That man, women have no idea that loneliness.
Oh,
I mean, think about that. But yet, an overweight woman that's doing the normal basic things that this same man is doing, she's a boss alpha chick.
Drop the mic. Drop.
It doesn't add up. So it's just, it's like you're doing what you need to do to take care of your household because you're an adult, first and foremost.
Right.
When you meet a man, and preferably if you meet a man who wants to lead and be a man, then you can learn to be feminine. And little by little, you give up those responsibilities.
Right.
That's it. Now, if you're with a man who's not doing it, then the question I ask you is, why are you with that man?
I ask that question all the time too. When we start to talk about submission and women be like, I'm not submissive to him because, and I'm like, well, if you with a man that you can't be submissive to, then you the problem. because I'm not being with no man. Because submission means that I just allow him to lead, and I trust him. I trust his leadership ability. I trust that he's not going to take us down the wrong path. And I'm not saying he's not going to make mistakes, but I trust that his intentions is to lead us into a good place. And if I can't submit to you, then there is no use in me being with you. And sometimes I hear men say this too, and I have to call the men out on this one. And I'm gonna ruffle some feathers now.
Let's hear it.
Yeah, sometimes I hear men say Black women are not submissive and they don't know how to be submissive. And I say, well, how many women were not submissive to you that you were dating? And they'll say, well, I've been with like a lot of women, maybe 6 or 7 women, and none of them were submissive. And I have to say to them, you're the common denominator. If 6 women were not submissive to you, then you're the problem. That none of them trusted you to lead. So you need to take a real look in the mirror of why I was with 6 different women that were not submissive to me and would not allow me to lead. And it may be a reflection of the fact of the matter of you didn't show leadership qualities that would make anybody want to follow you anywhere.
True. Absolutely. I mean, it's a man's responsibility to lead. I mean, and he has to have a plan for his household. He has to. And I think that just comes with age. And at our age, at our generation, it is what it is. So, that man should be willing to lead. He should know better.
Yes. And again, if a man is willing to lead, then a woman will be submissive. And this is where that 50-50 thing come in, but we won't get into that tonight because our time is winding down and we got a couple more questions from some viewers that I really wanted to get to. But that's where a lot of things come into play with 50-50. Like, just like we said, if a man asks me to marry him tomorrow, Lamar, and I say, okay, and he owns a home, he should not be expecting me to come in and kick in 50-50. You already been paying a mortgage. You already been paying a light bill. You already been paying a cable bill. You already been taking care of all of the basic necessities in that home. And you're asking me to come in under your leadership and you're going to ask me for half? I got a problem with that. And just like vice versa, when I come into that house, I'm going to cook. I'm going to clean. I'm going to wash clothes. I'm going to do all of the household duties. You know why? Because every day I do them in my house.
Right. But what you doing with your money, though?
It's going to be our money. I'm not just going to take my money.
Right. That's what I'm saying. So he may not be asking you to split the bills, but what are you doing with your money now?
Oh, my money is going to go into the house if it's my husband. We're going to put the money together. But there are men that expect a woman to come in and 50-50 and they're focused on her money. And I'm like, you should be able to maintain this ship by yourself. If I don't come in and I'm gonna be a housewife, you should be able to maintain as a grown, and we're talking about 40 and over now. Right. You should be established in your life to trade. I'm not looking for nothing from you. And the right woman that comes in is gonna automatically contribute to the household, is gonna automatically put her money in the pot. You don't even have to talk about that. But we live in a society right now where real grown men, you're not looking for a wife, you're looking for help. And I'm not for that party. I'm really not for that party at this age.
I think you can frame it a little different way because I've had those conversations before too. So it's like, listen, this is what I'm going to need from you. And what that extra money is going to do is going to be invested. It's going to be, we're going to travel. We're going to do other things with that money. You're not just going to be like, my check's my check and your check we spend. No, it don't work that way either.
No, I'm not thinking on those terms at all. But I know that nowadays in relationship conversations, there are grown men that are talking about what do you bring to the table? If you got to ask that question and you're expecting to marry somebody and lead a home, that's a problem. And again, this is just my opinion, for grown men, there's more that you should want a woman to bring to the table other than financial things. Like seriously, like that support, that cheerleading, that again, men are builders, right? Men are building things constantly. And you need somebody behind you that's supporting those visions as you're going along, because everything's not going to work out for you. Right. Like men really need women different forms of what do you bring to the table? And I hate the phrase, what do you bring to the
Yeah,
table?
I think that that term is getting thrown around a little loosely, and I think what men truly mean by that is what type of woman are you? You know,
Right.
like, can I depend on you? Can I trust you? Now we've talked about it before. Trust means more than love to men. Respect means more than love to men. Because if you respect me and you trust me, then everything else falls into place. So I was like,
Right.
I don't want to be with a woman that I have to fight every day because being a black man, being out in that world, and then have to come home and fight with the person I'm supposed to love and you know be vulnerable to, that's too much. That's just too much, chaos in my life. So make that's why I say all the time, men will settle where they find peace. And the woman has to learn, how do you become peaceful? How do you become peace? And the number one thing is be feminine. Be as soft as you can. Be as supportive as you can. And I tell women all the time, try it his way. If it doesn't work, then you can go, we tried it your way. It just didn't work, or you didn't lead right, whatever case. But stop fighting and like, nah, nah, nah. Nobody's saying it's my way or the highway, but just allow that man to lead a little bit. If he feels like he can lead and he can and have a plan for this family, you're gonna get a better version of that man. But if you're fighting with him all the time, you're challenging him all the time, if he has to explain himself all the time, no man wants that. That's just too chaotic. So, as you know, I've had again, I was married 25 years, so I've had that. She wasn't that bad, but I look in my partner now that I don't want that. Be
Right.
soft, be supportive. You know, women I'm seeing now. She's very feminine. She's very soft and inviting, and she doesn't raise her voice. And I mean, it's like, and you just look and go, that's different because the women I've dealt with in the past, they haven't. It's just like you want to challenge a man on everything. It's like the sky's blue. Nah, it's a little bit of purple. Like, oh my God, like, dude, is everything a challenge? It's like, come on now. It's like it's not competition, everything we do. There's always two ways to skin a cat. Sometimes you don't challenge them all the time. If you don't take the route, I remember driving, why'd you go this way? You could have went that way. You're like, you are riding for a reason. Like, just ride. That's all I'm asking you to do is ride. We're gonna get there. Like, we gonna get there. It's like, come on, man. Like,
Let
but
me go the way I want to go. Right. Yeah.
those are small examples that if you just pick your battles, pick your battles and just go like, is it really worth it? Is it really worth trying to belittle your man? How can you belittle a man and then turn around and try and then have respect for him? It
Wow.
doesn't, it doesn't work.
Wow. We all want peace. I want peace in my man. And we understand that over 50 for life. And this is one thing that we have to do too when we're having these conversations. We have to start to learn to listen to get the lesson and the message from Lamar as women. We have to learn. I'm listening to Lamar and I'm learning. And I want this platform to be about this. I want Looking for Love to be about us coming in as women and listening to a male perspective and receiving it without saying, well, we want it from our man too, or what about us? I don't want the platform to go back and forth like that. I want us to be able, I want the men to be able to receive from me. When I say a woman feels a certain way, as far as we're talking about the jealousy thing, I want us to receive as women from the men, and I want the men to receive from me as a woman so that we could come to some calm place, because what everybody else is doing online is they're bickering back and forth about, well, what about the man, and the woman should be doing this too. And that's not the way we want this dialogue to go. I want women to receive what Lamar is saying and not have a rebuttal all the time. Like he said, this is a problem that men have. Why you got to drive that way? What about me? And instead of us just sometimes just listening to this brother talk right now and receive what he's saying and take it and write it in your journal and maybe ponder on it and then come back to yourself and say, this brother said I need to be more feminine. Let me work on that. And
Try it. Just
right.
try it.
Let me
I
try to work on
Just
that. Right.
try it and watch the men's reaction because the through music, through social media, women are masculine. They're harder. They, and the thing is, being in this age group, if you interact with people 35 and under, their language, how they talk, the women call you bro and all this stuff. You're
Yeah.
like, and like, who are you talking to? You know, I had a younger woman I dated, and she was like, I got into an argument with her, and I told her to suck my. I was like, what?
Oh,
I was like, I said, man, that is horrible language. But they don't even know that they're doing it because it's all through the music.
and
That's
I'm
why.
so glad that you're touching on this because I'm looking at podcasts now, even with older people, like even with people our age, where people are just cursing, and I'm like, I'm so turned off by it, whether it's a man or a woman. Like I'm so turned off by the language because I like to have an intellectual conversation and we can have fun like we're having fun. We can say some things and get into some things, but I don't want to hear the F word. I don't
Yeah,
want to hear suck my, I don't want to hear the P word. I don't want to, I want to have conversations where we have a good time, but we're respecting each other and we're respecting each other with language. I don't think that on these podcasts and stuff that we have to drop the F bomb. I don't think that we have to talk about just vulgar things. It's good for us to talk and have conversations about, the state of sex in Generation X.
yeah,
It's good for us to talk about, intimacy and how often it should be and how do we fix this if you wanted 7 days and I only wanted two. Those are things we need to talk about, but we don't need to be talking about really, and I'm gonna say this, we don't really need to be talking about booty holes and your preferences and the conversation doesn't have to go that way because that is just really for me. I don't think it's helping us as a community. I think it's just shock effect. You know what I'm saying? Because
it is.
I've seen podcasts where I just was so turned off by the women's mouths, like you said. They were so vulgar. And I'm a woman. And I'm like, oh my goodness.
It's way worse, and I don't think that we really understand the effects of what social media and music. And I was watching CNN today, and they had Mark Zuckerberg at the Senate, and they were talking about he's responsible, and they're trying to blame him for suicides and things of that nature
Right.
and stuff like that. And it's a whole, and they made, he apologized, and I challenge people all the time. There's a thing on Netflix called The Social Dilemma. Look at that. And it's the people that developed all the social media platforms that now they see what it has done to society, and they are not proud of it.
No, of course they're not. But we're going to turn on the accountability bell right now. Me and you are deciding to have an intellectual conversation without smut and smudge. We're deciding as two grown ups. We could really get a lot of people following us if we took this podcast a whole nother way.
Right.
If we just started cursing, if I came out here dressed with my titties out and you came, zaddied up and we were just going back and forth about filthy things in the bedroom, we could have 1 million followers in 6 months. But we're here to bring harmony into the world, to show people that there are healthy relationships and there are healthy people out here. And we all need to do some work on ourselves. And people fighting and cussing and screaming on these podcasts is not doing anything to uplift or elevate Black folks. And quite frankly, I'm tired of it. And that's why I love our conversations because we go a little left sometimes, but it's not vulgar and it's not disrespectful to your lady. You know what I'm saying? And
Right.
it's not disrespectful to if I had a man, I could still sit here and talk with him being in here.
Right.
And I don't ever want it to go that way because that's really not what life is about right now. It's about being the best, highest version of yourself.
Right. You got some more questions?
Yeah, yes. So let's talk about that. Yes, bring me back. Bring me back. Let's talk about putting your phone down. A guy says, he sends us a message that says, put your phone down. He says, my lady is always on her phone no matter where we go, and I'm tired of it. I've told her over and over, and I'm ready to walk away. Am I overreacting?
No, because that's one of my red flags. When I was going on dates, I would purposely count how many times you pick up your phone in our setting. So if we're sitting across from each other at dinner, how many times did you do that? The lady I'm dealing with right now, our first date, she didn't even touch her phone one time.
Wow.
Not one time. And it was so obvious. I'm just like, dang, she never picked her phone up. Just doesn't. And I just think that that's an age thing. It's our generation. I don't think social media is that big of a problem in our age. I
Yes,
think
it
people.
is.
You think? I
Yeah.
have not had that experience. My experience has been younger, horrible younger. And that
Well,
that
you're
was.
just dating up now.
I am dating up now,
So
so
thank God you found somebody.
yeah, I mean, in the past, the younger ones, it was horrible. But and it just created a lot of insecurities within myself, and I'm just like, wow, like, what is going on here? But you gotta leave your phone down, and I tell anybody, take a break from that phone, put it down, it's you know, it matters and who you're following, what you're liking, things of that nature. It's like it all says it tells a little bit of a story about who you are. You
Ooh,
know? If I start to like somebody, I start going through and like, what are your interests? And I'm going through your Instagram and I'm looking at what you're doing. What is occupying your time? If you're following every social media blog or every gossip, that means you like gossip. You're too involved in other people's lives.
ooh, ladies, take notes, ladies, take notes because I do the same thing with men, right? Because I had a whole bunch of DMs on TikTok, and I was like, oh my god, this is crazy. But I went to some of their pages, and I don't like men who think that it's okay, even on my page from men that I know. I don't like men that think that it's okay to send me a vulgar joke in my DM. I don't think that's funny. I don't like sexual jokes. I don't. I really it's a really a turn off for me.
Right.
And it could be somebody that really, I was laughing or whatever, and we DM'd or whatever. And then you send me this joke, and I'm like, why do you think that you could say that to me? It was who sent somebody sent me something. I sent it to my girls, and they were like, well, now why would he even think that it was okay to say that to you? And I'm like, that's what I was thinking. So what we do on social media is very important, and I
It,
think
ma-
too it's important.
it matters, and
We're going
people are
out.
watching. So I got
Yeah,
I got I got a family member. I'm not gonna out him, but I got a family member,
don't
and
out him because he might be listening.
man, he's got 1,500 people he's following, and 1,200 of them are women he has no chance of getting. So it's just
He's just a looker and a lurker.
yeah, it's like it just comes off creepy. It's just like and I tell people that know me, said two things you will never ever accuse me of is being creepy or being a thief.
Wow.
I just don't like creepy. It just rubs me the wrong way. So it's like I don't know, just I don't know, being
Yeah.
a
So
man.
listen, ladies and fellas, we checking your social media, and for me too. If a man is following a bunch of Instagram followers, a bunch of Instagram models, and a bunch of people, I have a problem with that as well. I don't want to deal with that. So I'm like, oh, okay, that's the kind of person you are. So I really don't want to deal with that. I think it's necessary to be able to control yourself. I
Yeah,
think it's necessary to have other interests other than women. I think, because if you see your lady liking some dude's picture every single day, that shows me, or a man liking a woman's picture every single day, that shows me that there's a level of interest there. You know what I'm saying? You are interested to some degree in
well,
this person.
I tell guys this. Listen, if you're following a bunch of women, what it does, and it's the same thing that works with porn. If you're looking at porn all the time, it desensitizes you. It creates this false reality. And I'll challenge any man to go, dude, I have not looked at porn in almost 4 or 5 years.
Right.
And it's like it just is bad. It just creates this. I don't know. It just makes you think that that's how women are, and that's entertainment. That
Right.
that that is entertainment.
They're
Nobody does that. Nobody does those things. So looking at naked women all the time and like looking at porn and I tell men and women, if you are masturbating all the time, you're probably a person that is hard to be pleased in the bedroom.
oh, oh
Stop
Lord.
doing it. It's like you're desensitizing yourself. Like every woman is going crazy for this rose. Woman like I met women like masturbating 2 or 3 times a day, and then
Oh no.
they get mad like, well, you can't do. Of course, I can't do that.
Oh. Oh no, not do what the Rose could do.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's like, come
what?
on, like, get a Rose a break, like, bring him out on special occasions.
Give the Rose a break. And again, I've heard men say this too a lot. I've heard men say that, since women are on social media so much and naked that they're not even impressed anymore. They're not even pressed anymore to even see, because so many women are on social media naked that they're not even impressed to even look at the booties anymore, because you could just see it everywhere. Back in the day, we were discreet. And even me now, like I'm a little more into fashion now that I just like to get dressed up a little bit now, and I post my videos in my dresses and my outfits to show women you could be sexy and cute and fully dressed, and men are gonna still be like, oh, okay. What did this guy say to me the other day? He said a fully dressed thirst trap or something, but he was joking. And I said, well, what does that mean? He's like,
He's
no,
being,
it's a
he's being
joke.
respectful. He's being
Right.
respectful. I mean, you don't have to take your clothes off to get noticed. You don't. You
Right.
don't. I mean, not with men. You don't have to. I mean, and if you want to get noticed, there's nothing sexier than a woman who goes to the gym and takes care of her body that way.
Right.
You can cover yourself up, and you don't have to be naked doing all that stuff. But 35 and under, that's what they believe that's what they're supposed to be doing. And 40 and over, not so much. Now, I don't really see that in 40 and over. It's very respectful, it's like that. But the younger generation, it's horrible, and it's going to get worse before we really, as a society, go, this is not good. It really is not good. So
It really is not good. It really isn't. So if you just tuned in, you're tuned in Looking for Love. We're about to turn off and turn down. Turn down for what? We're about to turn up and turn down because our hour is up. But we thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you have any questions, please send us a DM or email us info@TreyKearney.com. We would be more than happy to discuss whatever your relationship dilemma is. I'm Trey Kearney. This is Lamar Hall. You can follow, friend, and like us on Instagram. We would appreciate it. So we will see you guys next week. Thank you so much, Lamar, for your input. This has been fun. We have another question, but we'll do that next week.
right.
Please tune in. You can tune in at the New You Nation Network YouTube channel, the New You Nation Network YouTube channel. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, and don't forget to hit the little bell to get the alert when we come on. So we'll see you next time. Peace and blessings. And thank you again for tuning in to Looking for Love.